Hello guys, this is IDQ, and in this video I want to talk about the 5 best position 3 heroes in this patch right now.
If you like this type of content, go to gamersclass.com. For just $9.99 a month, watch masterclasses with pro players, join exclusive live sessions, and get 24/7 access to coaches and other high MMR players. Get full control of your ranked games and start owning with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
The first one would be Darkseid, as shown by Team Nigma, my control especially. And I believe that this hero is going to be really strong in this meta. First, because a lot of the illusions heroes are back, such as Naga, PL, they're actually pretty good in this patch. So because of the Iron Shell and Vacuum, he's a really strong hero against them, since he has like 2 AoE spells. And other thing would be that his item build is super good. It varies from game to game. But for example, in this game he's buying Hood of Defiance, going to Pipe, and then something like Greaves. Actually he's going for X, but yeah, something like Pipe, Greaves to help your team, since you never really get countered, right? You never really get Stomp in your lane, because you can just press Iron Shell on creeps and still get gold. You can also usually farm a lot more than enemy carry also, since you can farm the wave and also some creep camps before he finishes farming the wave. So because of this, you will always get super farm and be like close to the enemy carry or even ahead of him in some games, and help your team through items. One build is, like I said, something like Hood of Defiance, Pipe, Greaves, Blink. Other would be Egrim Scepter. So Egg Scepter is really good on this hero. It gives you plus 300 max HP, which is super good. So any carry that has like 2000 HP is gonna have 2300. So like you boost your team's HP by 600 basically. Sometimes even more if you have more Iron Shields on people. So yeah, because of that you have realistically 1000 more HP in your team. Also you have more damage because you have 2 charges on Iron Shell. So this hero is really strong right now. Other thing about this that his Vacuum got a bit buffed. Backswing reduced from 0.7 to 0.4, which is not that important. W got a bit nerfed, but it doesn't influence him that much. The hero is the same really. And also the normal punch got changed. His egg shot is super good right now. I believe it got changed from 40% damage to 80% damage right now on the hero that you're hitting. So because of that you will get a lot of damage even from the enemy carry. So there is a potential that you can have like 200% of the enemy's carry's damage or 180% of their damage by using ult and normal punch on them, egg shot. So because of this, the hero is super strong in my opinion right now. Since he has multiple builds, it's a really strong teamfight hero and rarely loses any lanes. The second hero on the list would be Centaur, as shown by Seb and Team OG. I believe this hero is going to be pretty strong in this meta because he got buffed really hard, and he can help with a multitude of reasons to win the game. First, his spell got buffed, as I said. The AoE got increased on Hoofstomp, the double edge cast point reduced, shard slow is increased, shard buffed, so 2 of these spells already got buffed. The third spell, Retaliate, got buffed also from strength damage return, and even Stampede got buffed. So all of his spells got buffed. Besides, he benefits from the +2 all attributes, since we all know Centaur doesn't really have that much mana for hoof stomps, especially if the enemies get something like a diffusal, he might have issues with it. But since now he can get the intelligence from all stats, it's gonna be really good. And also the strength is gonna influence the retaliate damage and also his stampede damage. So it's super good because of that also. The hero is also really useful in teamfights because he has a big stun, right? 2.6 seconds at mass level, AoE. So because of that, super nice to have in your team. He also provides initiation by Blink, with Hoof Stomp obviously. He has a lot of damage on Double Edge and Hoof Stomp, so a lot of nukes to kill supports if possible. For example, in this game, Oracle, Shadow Shaman. His item builds varies a bit. He can buy something like Vanguard into Blink, and then from there he can go either Lotus Orb, Halberd. It depends what the team needs. Solar Crest even, I've seen some people go Lotus Orb. a lot of items that are really good on the hero. So the main build would be Face Boots, something like a stick, Vanguard, into Blink, and then from there, as I said before, you have a multitude of item builds that you can go, and still be really useful. One interesting part about this hero, and really advantageous part that you could have, is Roche fights. Since people are clumped up in the Roshan pip, you can get like a 3-4 man stun, and also if you have Aghanim Scepter, your teams can walk through walls basically and through trees. So it's really good to run away from the enemies or even initiate versus them. It also reduces damage while you're stampeding, so because of that it's super good against some of the heroes that are really good right now. For example, Void. If Void Chronosphere summon in your team, you can just stampede and they will take reduced damage. Centaur also rarely loses lanes because of his natural attack damage and tankiness and HP regen. Basically, for example, let's look at this game. He has 2.8, almost 3 HP regen from the start, which is a lot, right? He's also able to last it very efficiently with double edge, which costs 0 mana, so you can do it endlessly. And then also it's pretty hard to harass because of the retaliate whenever he gets it. And then like I said before, his HP regen, he gets like 0.6 per level, so it's super tanky. Can have 3 lanes almost always, has kill potential in lane. As we're seeing here, they're dealing a lot of damage since the spells got buffed. So I believe the hero is going to be pretty good in this meta. The third hero on this list is going to be Magnus. I believe this hero is really strong right now in this meta for multiple reasons. First of all would be that the hero got buffed, every single spell got buffed. For example, Shockwave, mana cost reduced, really good. Cleave damage increased on Empower, again super good. Damage increased on Skewer and speed a bit reduced, but speed isn't that important, more damage. Damage increased on Reverse Polarity also, and mana cost reduced. So this hero has a lot more mana right now, because they reduced the mana cost of spells, which is a really important thing, especially when you're playing offlane, right? So you always need to like empower the course. Another thing would be that he obviously increases your carry's potential with Empower, right? You basically give them a free Battle Fury almost, in that sense. Because of that, your carry is always gonna have more farm than enemy. It also enables them to farm ancient camps really early, right? And even ancient stacks, which usually they might not be able to. For example, a Juggernaut in this game doesn't have a Battle Fury. It would be pretty hard for him to farm stacks, but because he has a Magnus, is gonna farm a lot more than usual, and also a lot faster than usual. The other thing would be that he doesn't really require that much farm, right? As a Magnus, your job is to empower your carry, that's about it, and then maybe get an RP. Sometimes not even necessary, you would just win because your carry is so far ahead. So because of that, your carry can take more farms, right? You're also enabling your carry to farm faster, but you're not even taking his farm. So because of that, this hero is really good in that sense. His item build usually is something like Arcane Boots into Blink, and then you have multiple choices. Either buy something like Blades to give your carry lifesteal and even more damage, or Solar Crest, Lotus Soul, Halberd. All of those items are really good, really good to try to change the carry matchup in your favor. Obviously, if the enemies have a Ursa, for example, in this game, you can buy Solar Crest to give your carry more armor, or a Halberd to obviously disarm the Ursa so he doesn't do any damage. Other thing about this hero is that it works really well with synergy against some of the meta heroes right now. For example, as I mentioned in another video, I believe that heroes that farm a lot and have illusions, for example like Naga in some video I said, Anti-Mage, Sven, stuff like that. I believe those heroes are really good in this meta. Magnus works really good against them, to be honest. First of all, because he has RP, which is pierces BKB, so a lot of the heroes that I mentioned before, I mean one example would be Sven, he needs a BKB to function, right, to be able to win teamfights really hard, because else he can just get disarmed and disabled. But RP pierces BKB, so it's really good in that sense. Other sense would be that you can pick carries that are less greedy but still give them a lot of farm. For example, an Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit is really good against PL and Naga, which are both good heroes in this meta. Ember counters both, but the issue with Ember would normally be that he can't get enough farm, right? He won't get to hit 3 items when he just kills the illusion instantly. But with Magnus, he gets empowered and then just does the job almost instantly. So I believe Magnus is a really good hero right now. You can even skip Blink in some games and just go for Solar Crest and something like that. Especially since Solar Crest got buffed, since the cost is less, also gives him some mana regen which he desperately needs. Because of this, I think that the hero is going to be really strong in this meta. The 4th hero on the list is Beastmaster. At first, when the patch came out, I thought that this hero was like done, he couldn't really be played anymore, but I was actually wrong. The thing about it is that you can replace Necrobook with Helm of Dominator, right? So you still can apply the pressure very highly with Helm of Dominator and something like a Medallion. So you can buff your creeps with a Medallion so they tank the tower, and then just push it with Call of the Wild Boar and then the Helm of Dominator creep. So you still have a lot of damage. With that being said, you can't really buy the Necrobook anymore. So some aspects of the hero got nerfed, for example the mana regen that you get from the Necrobook. Other thing is that you don't see these heroes anymore. It's one of the aspects that this hero usually was able to counter. However, it's still really strong. As I said before, one of the builds to apply pressure would be Helm of Dominator into something like a Medallion, so you still have the mana regen. But he's actually pretty good against other meta heroes right now, such as PL, Naga and stuff like that. Even Spectre, Duza, which I've seen being picked a bit, because you can buy an Aghanim Scepter. Since you aren't really forced to buy Necrobook anymore, you can buy Egg Scepter. So your damage scales endlessly because you have 0 cooldown on wild axes, and they give you more damage per stack. You get plus 30 damage right now. And at 7.29 patch, as you can see, mana cost got reduced on it, and also increasing the damage every single time he casts it, besides the damage amplification per stack. So because of that, he's also really good against some of the heroes that usually he wouldn't be. Any illusion hero that was really good against Beastmaster now can also be played against in a pretty decent manner. The build usually goes something like Aghanim Scepter into Kaya or Netherlands, something like that, so you have a bit of mana regen or more damage, depends on what you need. Both really provide more mana regen, which you would need, because you will go out of mana pretty quick when you have 0 cooldowns on wild axes. The hero is also really good because of other aspects, such as Roar. He works through, pierces BKB obviously, so if the enemy carry wants to buy a BKB and feel like invincible, you can stop it with Primal Roar. Has a pretty big range, and also stun duration is pretty long, 3 seconds, 3.5 and 4 seconds. It also enables your team and your carry to do more damage with Inner Beast, your whole team actually, to take rush easily, push towers easily, because of this attack speed that you provide for your team. Another item that is really good on Beastmaster is Solar Crest right now. As I mentioned before, it got buffed, so it's very strong in my opinion right now. You should buy it even in position 5, rush the item. It's super strong. Because of that change, you will also get a mana regen, but it also increases your empowering of the carry. You're enabling him with more ways than just your Inner Beast, because you will also give him attack speed, you will also give him armor and a lot more stuff. The build usually, whenever you go something like that, continues with buying something like Vlad's or Halberd or even Lotus Orb to just protect the carry even more. For example, in this game, he went this build, Solar Crest, Helm of Dominator, because Lifestealer is really good against raking, right? So instead of buying Aghanim Scepter, which isn't really great right here because Puck can dodge it, and Phoenix doesn't really care because it can just ult. It also doesn't really matter for Enigmas, he's out of the team fight and just will come in with Black Hole. So because of that, he chose to empower his carry, right? Lifestealer. Lifestealer usually beats most strength carries and strength heroes because of his feast, right? So because of that, he just chose to make the difference between their carries' powers even greater. So that's why he went something like this, Solar Crest. Other thing about this hero that's pretty underrated is the vision that he gets from Call of the Wild Hawk, which is like really good. You can have 2 hawks on the map at all times. Obviously level maximum on this, so level 7 when you go for this type of build, else level like 11 or something like that. So you have vision in Rosh Pit is one important thing that you might need to consider, and also wherever the enemies are farming when you think they are, so you can set up the gank obviously with Inner Beast. This ability, Call of the Wild Hawk, got a indirect buff. As I said in another video, you can't really peek into the Rosh Pit anymore with couriers and stuff like that. So if you can have vision there with Wild Hawk, it obviously increase the value of the spells, since some other stuff got reduced. As I said before, the vision there with the courier, you don't get it anymore. So it's one really good ability. Another thing that you can do with this hero, a trick basically, you can go and take Roshan like 30 seconds whenever you have X. Since, as I said before, the damage stacks on X's every single time you use it, and you have 0 cooldown, you can obviously just spam the X's on Rosh, right? So what you want to do is buy something like Smoke and then go into Roshan pick. And just spam the X's. So Roshan doesn't really hit you. And then you will just have a free Aegis for your carry or even yourself, like 30 seconds afterwards, without taking any risk or any damage from Roshan. It's just a free Aegis whenever you get an X on this hero. So you should consider that also. So you can obviously push with Aegis and do a lot more stuff that other heroes couldn't really do. Because of all the reasons that I mentioned before, I believe that this hero is going to be pretty strong this meta still, just like the last patch. The 5th and last hero on this list would be Doom. I think this hero is going to be really strong in the meta for multiple reasons. First one would be that he doesn't really require that much space, right, as an offlaner, since he has Devour, which they buffed right now, as you can see. Cooldown and duration reduced from 70 to 60 seconds, and no longer provides health regen, which is issue with this hero right now a little bit. You just need to buy some more tangos at the beginning and maybe a bit more, one more salve or something like that. However, they increased the gold that you gain from this, the backswing got reduced on Scorched Earth, and even Doom got buffed. Damage increased, and even backswing reduced. And also, which is an important change, at level 10, plus 20 Scorched Earth damage. You have this and right now. It used to be a level 15, but now your spell does 100 damage per second, and it lasts 15 seconds. Which means that it does 1500 AoE damage on Scorched Earth, which is super much, right? Like, no 5 heroes could really just man up on you or even be close to you whenever you have like a BKB, something like this. Because they will take so much damage just from this that they won't be able to do anything. So the point that I was trying to make is that you don't really require that much farm since you have Devour. So your carry is going to have a lot more farm than enemy carry, since the opponent offlane will need a little bit of farm, most likely, and you just get passive gold from this. It's sort of a Midas, that you can think about it. Devour. Also, this hero has Doom, so you can shut down heroes that really like to play around their spells. For example, Invoker in this game, Storm Spirit, Ember Spirit, Void Spirit, Queen of Pain. A lot of heroes that like to play around their spells. You can just Doom them and then the fight's kind of over, because they just have to run away from you. They don't have anything, any answer for you. The item build for this hero is something like, depends on the game, but usually you want to buy something like drums, like hit it here into a BKB and then blink, so you can Doom the target at the beginning of the team fight, so the enemies don't have any chance to run away or even, you know, go on you first, right? Since that's one of the issues that Doom has. Because if the enemy initiates on you, you can't really Doom the hero that you want to do, since you will be in the backline. So something like Blink is really good at this hero. BKB into Shivas, right? Something like that. Because the weaknesses that this hero has would be heroes that have illusion. EL, Naga, stuff like that. So you're trying to counteract that. However, even those heroes aren't really that good anymore against you because of your W. As I mentioned before, you do 1500 AoE damage without any dispel amplifications. If you have something like Veil in your team, you do so much more damage. So you will try to buy a Shivas, right? So you have the armor that you much need, and also some mana which you need, but also the AoE damage from it. And you can also chase people down with Shivas card, which is a really good value for the item. Another thing about this hero is that you can also play it very versatilely after this, like 3 items. BKB is core on it almost every game you wanna get it, a Blink, and the Shiva guard. Afterwards, you can do a lot more stuff with the hero. For example, you can buy a Hex to have another disable for heroes that have a lot of escapes. You can go something like an AC to help your team do more damage, and also, you know, with armor. You can buy something like a halberd to cancel the linkens that enemy might get for your doom, and also disable the enemy carry. For example, in this game they have a troll, so obviously halberd is really good against troll, but also the invoker's linken that he might be buying. Yes, he's buying a linken sphere, so because of that it's really good also. And the thing about Doom is that he doesn't really get shut down like any game. You will always be able to come back if the game goes long enough, or if you have a decent lane, obviously that's good. But because of Devour, you can still get farm against hard laners. I mean, yeah, hard laners, that's the Doom. For example, one would be Troll, like in this game. Troll usually just destroys Doom because you have like no armor in lane, and can just run at you. But because of Devour, you can change the tide of the battle by buying phase boot, stuff like that, right? Because you will have gold incoming because of the Devour. So, as I said, I believe this hero is going to be super strong in this meta, even with the Devour's changes that you don't get HP anymore from it. I still think that this hero is super strong. It's going to be pretty popular in this meta.